So what are your words of wisdom? Not necessarily, I know, I'm not that far behind you, so I'm not sure your wisdom can have that much more influence on me. But for our kids and our grandkids.
Oh gosh, just always do the best you can do and be kind to other people, and I think life will treat you better in the long run.
Well, you were telling me a story, and it's part of your management philosophy, if you will, which I really enjoy. You've got an armadillo under your house,
Yeah, right.
and you've got a trap set trying to catch him, and you've got a guy that you had to hire because
That
it's
I
hard.
told him what to do and he's not doing it.
Right. And yet you're not belligerently demanding that he do it. So
No.
tell me how you work with people.
Because, well, that's not my... I do get upset at people sometimes. And
Right.
Trudy always says, calm down, calm down. But he's a good man, and he's really helpful to me. And I know he's going to be back here, and I know he's going to do what I told him to do initially. And we may catch that on the telly yet. But,
And he charges you fairly.
he charges me, and he does absolutely anything I ask him to do. He does it. You know.
So you will lead him to ultimately.
I will lead him to block that armadillo in. Yeah. I told him initially, this is what you need to do, Mr. Pruner. Yeah. So.
But what about the, you call, and when we have our political discussions, you call them mean-spirited. What is your view of human beings who are mean-spirited at the checkout counter, where they're just so mean to other people?
I can't stand it. I want to say something to them. You know, what is the matter with you? This is a hard-working person here. They can't help that, you know.
And they didn't make the policy
No,
of
they didn't
Walmart or whatever.
I can't understand it when they do that. It's just beyond me. You know, you want to ask them, are they having menstrual cramps or what? You know.
Well, how much trouble do you think our country and our world is in, and how do we get out of it?
I always have hopes for our country. And
Why?
Well, because we've managed to survive for a long, long time. I don't care who's in charge. We lived through it. And we've had some bad ones, and we've had some good ones. And we've had some that are good and a little bit bad. And we survived.
Well,
I just wish our politicians would get back to liking each other and saying we need to discuss this, and no, we don't 100% agree with you, but maybe we can find some common meeting ground somewhere. I think the whole country wants that.
So more civility.
Yeah, right.
Well, as we kind of come to a close, it was pretty tough during the war, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. It didn't seem to me as a child that it was, but I know my mother struggled during the war. And I know it's hard for your mom with him being gone, her living at home. Because I think...
Because she was a new mother without a husband for 4 years.
Yeah, right? And she wanted more freedom, and not freedom to do anything, but, you know, Gaga was pretty rigid when we were all young, and she got more mellow as she got older. So I think Dot had some hard times.
So here, mother was a married woman with a child, and yet because she lived at home, almost under a dominating mother.
Still a child, yeah. So it was hard for her, I'm sure. You know. And she worked too. Everybody worked, as I remembered it. Yeah.
I love the story when you went back to get your bachelor's degree, went to FSU.
Yeah.
And you...
I was sending her the money. Yeah, I had a $200 federal traineeship, and I was also a counselor in a girls' home back before they were segregated, when they were segregated like that. And I would have to use that $200 for gas money, like we went to Chattahoochee for our psych nursing, and for food, and for tuition, and all that kind of stuff.
So it wasn't much money.
So it wasn't much money. You know, I carried it really close, and I sent Gaga $80 a month. And when I got home, she'd put it all in the savings account. I could have used that money, you know. Yeah, she had savings. I still see much of me in saving ways. I think I told you I always wanted a blue raincoat, but I always got beige because it would go with everything.
But if you go back to the amount of money Gaga made,
yeah, Didn't make much.
How could she have saved?
I don't know.
I mean, not only did she save,
She always saved.
but she also had a yard man who was the earliest.
And, you know, I don't know what she paid Mackenzie, but
And,
do you know he stayed there all day long? And they would have lunch together on the
and
back
he'd ride his
porch.
bicycle.
No, he didn't have a bicycle.
Oh,
I
that
tried
was
to buy him a bicycle, but he said, no, Miss Joan, I don't know how to ride any bike.
And then the maid.
Yeah,
What was her
right.
name?
We had Corrine and Rebecca, those two, the whole time I was little.
And there's somebody working as a
Yeah.
single mom, as a seamstress.
Yeah,
And yet, I mean, life was
So-
just amazing.
yeah, it was amazing. But she could save the money. She wouldn't, if she had a yard sale, she wouldn't let me do anything about selling. She'd say, no, you stay away, I'll take care of that. Because she knew she could get more money for it than me. I'd say, oh yeah, take it for 10 cents if you want it.
Well, I have such happy memories of the house on Oleander,
Yeah,
sitting
right.
on the porch, and that's one story you can remember me watering the flowers.
Oh yes, that's how we taught you to get toilet trained, was to water the flowers through the banister.
Petunias right across the front. So I always imagined that someday, you know, because Gaga kept that house through the worst of times.
She did,
and
absolutely.
it was, I mean, back when that house was, there weren't, like, you remember the picture you told me about of me in the street
Oh yeah,
in diapers, and you look back and that shows you how little traffic there
no
was.
traffic, hardly any cars. I think there were only maybe 2 people on the whole street that had a car.
Right.
Yeah,
And yet we're sitting here today when you're in this nice house and
Yeah.
different location. It was really hard to give up Oleander though.
oh, I
'Cause that was
really,
your whole life,
I
right?
was agonized about it. And I don't like to see it now because it looks so bad.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just sad.
It's very sad, yeah. Gaga would be turning over in her grave, you know.
Well, that happened to me when my granddaddy's house was torn down in Ybor City.
Yeah,
And it's like, boy, my life. But then when my house was torn down,
yeah, then it really gets to you.
it gets to you.
Yeah.
There's something about life, and yet it still goes on.
Life goes on, yeah.
And you
But it's a
realize
loss still.
Yeah.
It's a loss.
But you also realize it's not about things or
Yeah,
houses.
that's right, yeah.
So let's close with this question.
All right.
What would you have done different?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. Probably gone out and had a baby. Like they do today. You know, it's no bad thing today. If you want a baby, go get one.
With a man or without a man?
Oh, you can have artificial insemination, anything would work for me.
It's a little different world. Isn't it?
Yeah, it is a different world. A totally different world.
Well, say something to your grandkids.
Oh,
And
gosh. Well, they all know.
Talk about the grandkids just for a minute.
Oh, well, I just love them all to death. I just feel like they're a part of me, and I always show their pictures to everybody else, and I always say, aren't they the best looking kids you've ever seen in your life? You know, just
Oh, there's
love
one
them
thing
all.
we haven't talked about because I'm so Sandy and Bobby, but Linda has always been a big part
Yeah,
of our life.
Linda was a big part of our lives, because we had her for a full year, and my memory of Linda when she was little is she could tell the biggest stories you ever saw, and she'd tell you about that bear coming through that window. She could make them up just
Well,
coming
she
and
still
going.
does now. You tell me
Yeah.
when you're driving with her,
Oh,
she'll be
She
making-
can't tell a story about those hands.
Right.
Yeah, she's full of it. She knows how to talk.
So you've also got her kids too. So I mean, you've got a lot of
That's right.
kids.
Yeah, a lot of kids. Whole heap of kids, and
Sandy's
they're
coming.
all dear to my heart. Every one of them.
So I'm leaving today, and then your birthday's next week, and
Yeah, and
Sandy's
Sandy's
coming.
coming.
So.
So we'll meet again,
Good.
right?
So this is kind of not a story of your birth, but a story of your life.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I'm going to learn to go do these
Got it.
multiple cameras and put them
Okay,
together.
hope it
and
comes out good.
We'll bring it back.
Good.
So
All
thank
right.
And maybe we'll add to the story.
Oh,
so.
maybe so. If I can think of anything else. Yeah.
Love you.
Mwah. Love you too. Bye.